Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. Week 4 of the NFL ended last night with an AFC Monday night doubleheader. The Miami Dolphins got their first win in 2025 as they beat the New York Jets 27-21. Tight end Darren Waller, who came out of retirement to play in Miami, had 2 touchdowns in his Dolphins debut. Also, the Denver Broncos beat the Cincinnati Bengals 28-3, and both of those teams moved to 2-2 on the season. Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill suffered a brutal injury as he tore multiple ligaments in his knee, including his ACL. Hill is having surgery today and is expected to miss the rest of the 2025 season. Also, Jets running back Braylon Allen suffered an MCL sprain that will likely put him on IR, per Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. There was also a trade in the NFL yesterday as the Houston Texans sent offensive tackle Cam Robinson and a 2027 7th-round pick to the Cleveland Browns for a 2027 6th-round pick. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news I want you in your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And you know what? I don't want to open the show with the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, stunner.
I know.
Talk this down there, Ross.
Breaking news. I'm tired of talking about the opening the show with negativity about this team.
What the heck are we starting with?
There's 3 good football teams in the state of Tennessee that we should be all talking about more, that can bring you more joy than this godforsaken Tennessee Titans team.
Oh, man.
And we'll get to the bad Tennessee football team later on in the show. We'll also talk to Coach Mack at 2:20. But we got 2 legit kind of Heisman candidates right now. We got 3 teams that should be ranked. The disrespect shown to University of Memphis is unbelievable. But because they're 5-0, they're 5-0, and you know what? Andy Staples of On 3, he said that the last team in the 12-team playoff will be the University of Memphis by his prediction, his little bracketology.
They're doing that good?
They're doing that good. That's why nobody wants the University of Memphis in their conference.
I would definitely not.
Because they're all scared.
I would not put them on my schedule. They're definitely.
But we got actually.
Was it Saddlefield? What's his name?
Silverfield.
Silverfield. Yeah.
So we got really good football to actually talk about. 3 good teams. Memphis obviously should at least be ranked right now. It's ridiculous that they're not. But let's talk about Vanderbilt and Tennessee.
I saw Memphis's quarterback got cut off practice squad. That was crap. I like that guy, man. Hennigan, or what was his name?
Well, Seth Hennigan. I've seen some social media posts of Seth Hennigan. He does not look to be in football shape.
Huh?
And yeah, he's gotten a little chubby, let his little body go and everything. So I'm just saying.
No, he did this once he got in the league?
Yeah. Yeah, and he started making TikToks with I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend, but started making these TikToks. Focus shifted elsewhere.
Oh, my.
All right. So, right now, Diego Pavia, Joey Aguilar are tied for the 8th highest Heisman odds at plus 1,700. And I think I may actually put some money on Diego Pavia. I may put money on both at this point. Because if either one of these guys go in and beat Alabama, well, they're probably going to shoot way up. The odds are going to get worse. And I'm not ruling out, listen, I know Alabama has played really well. I know that they even won a game against Georgia where they didn't score a point in the second half and still won the game.
How's Simpson playing, though?
He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I told you.
He's easing in.
You still don't like him, or are you starting?
I don't know, because I don't know what this Georgia team is.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't know. This Georgia team looks very beatable.
You're comparing them to past Georgia team. Don't do that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
This year's Georgia team and who they played.
I don't think they're that good.
Well, then then Tennessee beat a not so good Georgia or lost to a not so good Georgia team.
Well, I guess I would say they're a lot more beatable than
in the past.
Yeah.
See, and so is Alabama. They're in the same.
That's true.
criteria
I guess
because everybody's poaching their backups or rotational players now. Now they become full starters. That's what the NIL has done. Is leveled the playing field. Yeah. See?
And I will say this. I really thought Heupel and University of Tennessee was going to end up losing that game. With the way it started against Mississippi State, the muffed punts and all that kind of stuff, turnovers. The Mississippi State was able to run the ball at will. The University of Tennessee couldn't get their run game going. Tight ends missing catches and all this kind of stuff. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. And you were expecting it.
And good teams still find ways
and
to
they
win.
found the way to win.
And that tells you a little bit about where Tennessee is going.
It took overtime, but a win is a win.
Yeah.
And props to Jeff Lebby for how he turned around Mississippi State in 1 year.
They didn't win a conference game. They only won 2 games, right?
They only won one game last year.
Okay.
And it was not a conference game. So, props to what he's been able to do because he really took it to them.
Yeah.
And Mississippi State's been very competitive this whole way through. So, but I'm telling you, Joey Aguilar, Diego Pavia, especially Diego Pavia, what they've been able to build up in Vanderbilt with his arrival, with Clark Lee's, I guess, just coaching style and everything, how well that meshes is just, it's fun to watch. And listen, I know that they're coming into Tuscaloosa, but I'm not sleeping on Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt being able to win this game. Now, I mean, I don't know what the chances are, but I'm not going to be probably like Alabama radio that is right now and saying, oh, Vanderbilt has no chance. They're coming in Tuscaloosa. I don't know. We thought that going into Virginia was going to be tough, and it wasn't tough for them. I mean, they find life in the second half like no team that I've ever seen before.
That's conditioning. That's mental toughness. That's we about to impose our will.
Yeah.
And that's what they do with that offensive line they have. Woo. Man, Vanderbilt's dangerous. I would not want to be playing them. Yeah. I'm trying to think who Diego Pavia reminds me of. And it's nobody that's really close, but what's around him, like the excitement that he brings, a little bit Johnny Manziel.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's who kind of comes to mind for me, but like Johnny Manziel if he wasn't an a-hole.
Yeah, I did meet Johnny Manziel this past weekend.
Did you? You were at that event. I forgot.
Yeah, with the autograph session stuff there, the Heisman Trophy winner. I didn't feel that, but I could see how some people could perceive that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but I sure know one thing, man. He brought a lot of excitement to college football.
Maybe like a lesser NFL talent, Baker Mayfield, a little bit to his game.
Diego better watch out because Johnny did tell me that he is moving to Tennessee. He is moving to Tennessee. Johnny
That's
Manziel.
Interesting.
And I didn't want to get into, why are you doing that? I don't know what his whole deal is.
Yeah.
What he's got going on. I don't know if he's an influencer or, what else going on, but it was just kind of interesting having that conversation with him. He was a special player. I really thought once he got into the league, if he learned to become a pocket passer, he would have been fine. I don't think he embraced it because eventually he got better in the pocket.
Yeah.
But then he went back to Johnny running around.
Also, Joey Aguilar was able to kind of keep from, I guess, overly crashing. He had some issues and all this kind of stuff, but he, again, rose to the occasion just like his head coach did. Because we sat here with Chris Phillips talking about how, hey, Tennessee typically loses one on the road that they have no business really losing. And I think this kind of, again, going back to a head coach matching well with what their quarterback in terms of personality and what they want to be and lining up philosophically what they want to be, it's working right now for them. And they're a team, Tennessee is a team that right now, I know that Andy Staples has them as the first team out, like a group of 4 first team out of the college football playoffs. But they still have opportunity to get into the playoffs. And I think that if they get into the playoffs, I wouldn't discount this team because they're going to get healthier as the season goes on. David Sanders theoretically should be available and should be healthier. Their left tackle.
Right.
Jermod McCoy coming back for the Arkansas game. He should get healthier as the season goes on, you hope. And if you start getting healthier at the right time, I mean, this Tennessee team is legit.
Well, those two guys you mentioned, I hate to say it, but this is how I would be as a coach. I'd slow play them, get them back into the game because we now into a rhythm, and the guys who are stood up have played well. They deserve their opportunity to play, and then slowly ease them back into the lineup, part-time play, and to see if they can play up to par of the guys who have replaced them while they were injured. Because if not, then all of a sudden they go back out there, they're going to have some rust on them. Regardless, especially Sanders, who hadn't really played very much at all. But, when you're coming off an ACL and you're a cornerback, you want to make sure he's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good now that they know they got depth, though, for sure.
Right.
You know what I think the best thing about it for Tennessee was, too? Obviously the win, but you win despite Josh Heupel having, in my opinion, a big mismanagement of the clock at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has that learning moment, but they still win.
Yeah.
And Josh Heupel's a phenomenal coach, but the way they handled that last drive in regulation was awful with the clock and the timeouts.
Yep.
So for them to still win and him to be able to have that, hopefully, growth experience for him is great.
Oh, kind of explain, because I left the bar where I was at to what happened there at the end of the game. I just saw it went into overtime. What happened?
Do you remember what the clock was, Zach? I feel like it was a little over a minute.
Yeah, just a little over a minute, if that.
But, man, they had all 3 timeouts, and they got up to midfield with like 30-ish seconds left, still had 2 timeouts, and they ran the clock all the way down to 4 seconds and tried a Hail Mary, I believe, at the end, or just some last play.
Why didn't he call timeout?
Instead of playing for a field. I don't know. It was wild.
Oh, so watch this. So he had a Brian Callahan moment?
It's funny you say that. That's what I said when it happened.
He became a watcher just from the sideline.
I guess so.
Oh, I'm just watching TV. I need to call timeout.
But it was very weird. But again, for them to be able to still win and him, be like, hey, I got to be a little more aggressive or manage that better, I think that's great for Tennessee.
Yeah, it was 1:46 on the clock on that drive, and they just wasted 1:46. They played it so conservatively on that drive. Yeah. And I will say, I mean, David Sanders was back, but what I'm saying
he
is
played part-time, right?
Yeah, he played part-time. What I'm saying is that when he's fully back.
Yeah, everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't change how I would
operate. Right.
I mean, those guys have played well. Now, it may be different for Sanders because, now they're getting paid and he's, making $1 million still on the sideline. So, because some coaches be like, he back out there. Yeah,
Tyler Dial on the F&M Bank Chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live says at one point is 1 minute and 18 seconds, and they ran it down to like 40 seconds off that one play.
Oh.
So, it was such a long game regardless of if you went into overtime or not, but with how both teams played it. And listen, he's trying to make sure that, Mississippi State doesn't have anywhere to really go because I believe Mississippi State had all 3 timeouts as well. So neither coach was calling timeouts to really, get this going. But at the end of the day, I guess that because, the Tennessee Titans have just drained me of caring about conservative gameplay. I just want to see some aggressiveness. I just want to see some aggressiveness. But I will say, no matter what, you walk away with the win. If you're University of Tennessee, you're feeling pretty good. And for Mississippi State, I heard someone say it today. I think it was Lucas said, you feel kind of like how Tennessee fans mainly felt about the Georgia game. It's a loss, but you feel really good about the place your team's at. And Mississippi State fans probably feel really good about where this team is at right now.
Well, I don't know if the fandom gets to that point, but it seems logical.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm sure they hated losing the game and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you're like, okay, well, at least we know things are turning in the right direction with Jeff Levy. Whereas with Tennessee Titans lose a game, you just know that's going to be the worst game of your life that you've ever had to sit through week in and week out for this Tennessee Titans team.
Stick to college right now.
Okay. But you know what? When we do come back, coming up next, we're going to have to talk about this Tennessee Titans team because the coordinator spoke today. And also, I got some information about why a midseason coaching change isn't going to hurt this team and isn't going to hurt Cam Ward. More of that coming up next. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
It was once said, do all good you can, by all means you can, in all ways you can, in all the places you can, at all times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. That's what owner Aaron Stoke has tried to do for over a quarter century. Hi, folks. This is Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix repairs European vehicles at below dealer pricing. But what sets Eurofix apart is isn't just its pricing, it's their quality of work. It's the deep commitment to quality that keeps you off the tow truck. And Eurofix has clean, welcoming shops where you can actually sit down and relax. Plus, a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection to share with you what's going on. And at Eurofix, you also get a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repair work performed. And rental cars are available with all appointments. 5 locations in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Season Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. You want to get in on the conversation as we're talking now this Tennessee Titans football team. As the president of positivity here at the station about the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, well, you're on the board?
I'm on the board.
Oh,
I
okay.
have some positivity for everybody.
Positivity.
The line has shifted in favor of the Tennessee Titans. Instead of being 9.5 point underdogs, they're just 8.5 point underdogs for their upcoming trip to Arizona. So there's some positivity for everybody. Hope you got it at 9.5.
Oh, by the way, I liked Arizona's paint jerseys.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like them, did you?
No.
I knew you didn't. You thought it looked like poop.
I like the jerseys, and I also liked the Miami jerseys last night.
I like it being different. I don't know if I like that on a continuous basis, but I like,
now the Miami jerseys, I would wear those.
Oh, that black.
They'd be official.
Ooh-wee, that black.
I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't want black in Miami.
No, I liked it. The worst jerseys by far this season were those Saints Week 1 mustard jerseys. Those were awful.
Easily.
Oh, no, I did not like those.
Easily.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Maybe the Titans got something fresh, some new jerseys for that game. Maybe get them hyped up or something. I don't know.
I think
8.5 to Arizona.
Yeah, it was 9.5. So again,
dang it,
positivity, trending in the right direction.
Stop this.
All right, I got a theory about this Nick Holtz, Bo Hardigree, Brian Callahan thing that is going down. Because if you go to this Nick Holtz clip that we're going to play on about not getting the play calling and what he does, because they already asked this question last week about what he does. But there is a time at the beginning of this clip, you can go to A to Z Sports, PK.com, Teron Davenport. I'm sure everybody has the video.
Who was there?
But if you go to the video, he is asked about, how he feels about not having the play calling and stuff like that. He answers, I'm fine with it, takes a beat, looks away from the guy who asked the question. If you just really own in on it, you just know he's not fine with it. But here's Nick Holtz on not getting play calling and exactly what does he do around here?
Really didn't change my role very much. I was a play caller before, so I'm still not, and which is totally fine. And sorry, go back to the rest of it.
Well,
how does it change?
I think people want more insight into
what I do. So, I'm in each game plan meeting. I'm in every one with run game, all the past game meetings, everything like that. So do that, handle all the scripting, kind of organize the offense, install the offense in front of the unit, give the unit meetings. So there's plenty of work there.
Okay, so outside of everything that he does aside, he lost track of what the question actually was because he obviously is not okay with it. So I just would like to connect some dots. This is not sourced information or anything like that. I'm just using Occam's razor. The most likely conclusion is the obvious conclusion. We know that Brian Callahan, we do know this. We know that Brian Callahan did not give up play calling willingly.
Because he loves it.
So why do we think that he was allowed to pick the coordinator replacement or the play caller replacement? And because let's be honest, most coaching hires are all buddy hires, but Nick Holtz and Brian Callahan, they've known each other for a long time.
Didn't they go to high school together or something?
2000, they've known each other. I remember someone saying that they went to Panama City Beach with Cliff Kingsbury and Zach Taylor down in 2006 when they were all still in college or whatever. So they've been together for a while. We know that Nick Holtz has worked under Bill Callahan separately from Brian Callahan, so they know each other. So the conclusion to make would be that your offense, if the head coach got to choose, you would think that he would go to Nick Holtz and you would think he would go with his offensive coordinator because that just makes sense. So this tells me, and that little stuttering tells me that the decision to go with Bo Hardigree was not even in Brian Callahan's hands. Now, this is conjecture, speculation. I guess you could play, I know there's a reckless speculation sound, but just to be honest.
You said you didn't like that.
Yeah, but it was a crazy sound. But at the end of the day, that seems to be the logical conclusion. I don't think I am that far off. What do you guys think about my conspiracy theory here?
Well, what do you think there, Ross?
So they were teammates at De La Salle in
There you
high
go.
school.
Yeah, they know each other for a very long time. So what do you think about my theory that probably the likeliest conclusion here is that the guy who had play calling taken away from him by someone else is likely not the guy picking the next play caller in this instance?
Yeah, I don't think he had the control in that decision making. I think he certainly would have picked holes. Blaine, do you think he would have?
Well, it's hard to speak on what I think he would do, but the logic here is he doesn't have control of anything. So as far as making decisions like that, so obviously they chose who they wanted.
Yeah.
I don't think it was his choice.
And so if that's the case, doesn't that create an unnecessary, I guess, weirdness, extra level of weirdness inside this whole, I guess you would say, between the staff that probably leaks into the players at some sort? Like, why are we taking calls from Bo Hardigree and not from the offensive coordinator who's in on the game plans and all this? Like, it just feels like it's already weird enough that you have forced your head coach to give up play calling, but now you have forced a play caller on him that he may not have even wanted. So doesn't that create like an extra dynamic of drama inside this whole staff and locker room?
You're acting like this is an actual real company. Like the players don't know anything. It's like there's an upstairs, and then that does not ever.
So you don't think they can come to this conclusion?
Maybe some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them. But ultimately, they don't worry about that because it's out of their hands anyway. So let's say you're going to worry about something that you can't control. The players talk about it all the time,
Yeah.
right? I can only control what I can control, and that's themselves. So they could bench the quarterback and be like, well, we got to move forward, and they're going to speak highly of the person, whoever else they decided to go with. And this is the same situation because they have no say-so in any of it, so they're not going to have concern with it. Now, are they going to back up like, dang, man, that was messed up. You saw what happened? Yeah, somebody may say that, but at the end of the day, they got to go ahead and do work. They get paid to go out here and perform. So ultimately, I don't think it seeps in the way you're thinking like it's in a corporate world.
Well, do you think that
Because if somebody up top here made a decision and it wouldn't leak down up in here, it's just a decision that was made.
But do you think
that's
the
'cause it comes
friction
from the boss.
that could be from the coaching between the coaches here could cause anything? I know, maybe not. I'm just asking.
I'm just guessing. I don't know. It depends on personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you are a very insensitive person, very insecure person, there are coaches like that. Some may have issues with it. I don't think these coaches do, though.
Yeah. Well, I will say this offensive coaching staff ain't a lick of personality among them, it feels like right now. I mean, I'm not very exposed to Tyke Tolbert and Randy Jordan at this point, but like, man, every time one of them gets up and speak, feels pretty boring right now.
Well, I mean,
and then obviously you could be in public.
So, but
yeah.
you know, well, most quarterbacks wouldn't you? I mean, coaches would say that, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
So how would you judge Vrabel?
Oh, Vrabel's got loads of personality. It may not just be a personality that is a great personality. You get what I'm saying? But he's got personality.
Give me an example.
Well, I mean, anytime he got up and spoke, I mean, even an angry person, angry temperament is still personality. I just don't feel like there's a lot of, like, when you see him go and speak, okay, Bussin' with the Boys is a good example. When you see him on with Bussin' with the Boys, you see his personality really shine through. When we've seen Brian Callahan in similar settings, it's kind of the same guy that we get in the thing.
Well, I think that's two different deals. First and foremost, those guys played for him.
Yeah.
They did not play for Brian Callahan because you're going to have your guard up whenever you're doing an interview. So I think it's two different guys, but they are two different people. I just think I'm not going to judge based off how people do with certain interviews or not. Most coaches in general, is what I was trying to say, are kind of boring and just good at the X's and O's. And they don't want to show you too much personality because they don't want to let that guard down, because if they say something that they don't want out there, then exactly it gets out, then sometimes it changes. So, it's kind of hard to judge guys from this perspective where we're sitting based off of interviews of what they really are. I mean, you can see players, let's just use players. They leave from one team to another. It seems like, oh, he's a different guy now, right? Yeah, because obviously where he was at, he was feeling a little uncomfortable and what he was going to have to say or not say.
Well, I'm sure this whole entire staff's probably on phones, sending out faxing resumes and all that kind of stuff right now.
So they're sitting in a spot where they feel like they can't win. So I would be, buttoned up when I'm sitting there talking to the media at time. And that's why I said you got to think about the agenda of what they're trying to achieve, especially head coach Callahan, why he was going against what Easton said that he should have said at the time, is because he's still trying to sell that he is a great play caller because he knows the next job is going to be an offensive coordinator for him.
What do you think about this? We never really got into this, but obviously everybody watched on the because it happened right in front of the Tennessee Titans sideline. This comes from Tyler Dial. Everybody saw Cam Ward get hit in the face. Yeah. I mean, pretty blatant, and doesn't seem like anybody really came on the field or any of the offensive line came over. Is that just because it's everybody?
Well, how'd you take it?
Oh, I would. Here's why. First off, I said is you're not going to win this game anyway. Big Jeff might as well go out there and just choke slam Azeez Al-Shaair. Now that's a little extreme, obviously, but I'm just thinking, you ain't winning this game anyway. But I wouldn't take it. I'd be out there on the field, and I probably would have got suspended, right? Like if I'm coming on to the field and a defensive player or a player that's not in the game play, you probably get suspended for that. Or if I'm the offensive line, I'm definitely over there in Azeez Al-Shaair's face. I mean, I may not put hands on him or anything like that, but I'm definitely going to be backing him up with my face mask or helmet.
Out of the 5 offensive linemen, you're making an assumption that they actually saw what happened.
Well, I'm just saying.
Did they see the guy that they're blocking?
I'm just saying that nobody saw it.
You are blocking people.
Yeah.
Like he got outside of the pocket, and I'm sure maybe 1 or 2 people saw it. We saw Big Jeff saw it. He was on the sideline right there in front of him, and he was pointing, hey, call a penalty. Now, I thought he did a smart play. I wouldn't have ran on the field.
Yeah.
No, I would not have. Now, for them not supporting him, I think that's an outright mistake on their part, but I don't think they all saw what actually happened in totality. People act like the players are sitting there watching the TV just like we are. Like they actually saw the hit. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody didn't say something to Azeez the next play and the play after and after, in between the lines, to make sure they didn't get kicked out of the game or get a penalty. So I don't know those things.
Yeah.
So I can't make an assumption, they didn't protect their player. Please, I think everybody in that locker room enjoys Cam Ward.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's an indictment on Cam Ward, but I feel like...
watch this. If this was Will Levis, you would have said they don't like Will Levis. See, that's what would have. No, the fans, not you.
Oh, yeah.
The fans would have.
Yeah.
See, so it's hard to see all what happens unless it's right in front of you as a player in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, especially these guys that were blocking that front four.
Yeah.
I think they had their hands full. So, I can't say they did or didn't, but I don't think that they don't have his back.
Yeah, because Zeitler was just like, it is what it is, yesterday in his press conference, which I don't know really what he's supposed to say other than that.
Right. Do you think they saw?
I think at least a couple of them did, but...
No, I'm talking about the guys on the field. On the field, not the guys on the side.
Yeah, I'm saying I think a couple linemen saw at least.
Yeah.
Like it looked like... And Ben Jones said this yesterday, and I kind of agree with him. He's talking about how the culture is so anti-penalty right now, and I feel like maybe there's a point in that some guys may have seen that and not wanted to get involved because they don't want to pick up a penalty.
That's what I said. You don't want to get a penalty or get kicked out.
But see, the thing
you gotta
is,
play it smart.
Can we, as the coaches and as the team, can we not understand the difference between a procedural penalty, which can't happen, and a penalty of just sticking up for your boys? You know what I mean? Is there not any difference in that?
Well, I think what happened real live in game is they saw it after the fact and they're maybe 5 yards away and they go, well, why I'm going to run over there? I'm going to just get him in between the whistle. Yeah,
sure,
because first of all, there was no flag thrown, whether you believe it was a penalty or not. There was no flag thrown.
Right.
So you going to go run over there and get a penalty and get kicked out for a penalty that wasn't called. Let's start there. So we talking about having smart football players. You can run over there and talk all up in that guy's face and be like, hey, man, stop that. Now, that could have happened. Or you wait and get him in between the lines? Because there was no penalty called, even though it should have been. See, so let's don't get everybody get their panties in a wad over a guy who had a head to the face and then nobody had his back. I mean, are you kidding me? Now, there was a time when we did see right in front of our faces, the offensive line saw Vince Young get dumped on his head, and none of the dudes, they was standing right there and did not help him up and didn't say nothing to the line.
Yeah.
I mean, to the defensive guys. Yeah, that was egregious. I don't think this is anywhere near that.
Yeah, that one's a little, I mean, that could paralyze someone.
Yeah,
what
that
you're
was,
talking
I was
about.
like, oh my, I jumped out of my seat.
This
like,
was
what?
an egregious foul in and of itself, but it's not a, like, you ain't injured kind of
Yeah,
foul,
right, yeah.
right? Like, you can still get up and walk kind of foul.
But that shows you, and I'm going to say this, and this is about the refereeing, and I never have talked about the refereeing until these last 2 years. The Titans just don't get any calls like that. Just imagine if that was Aaron Rodgers or any other quarterback, even C.J. Stroud. They would have called that.
If it was Mahomes, Aziz would have been electrocuted, probably.
They would have kicked him out.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just when everything goes in. You know, I saw this thing the other day, and it made me think of Brownlee. Sauce Gardner says because we're a losing team that he gets called for holding more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said it out loud, like in the presser. I'm like, I wonder if that's how Brownlee feels.
By the way, I'm getting lambasted in the chat because I asked this question. Well, it came from the chat. Y'all lambast each other.
Oh.
You don't give me
Well, you just
crap
asked
for
the
the
question.
chat. Yeah, I'm just asking the question.
Well, everybody was also thinking it after the play happened, too.
Right. I
Whether
mean,
right
I'm
or
sure
wrong.
most of these people probably changed their mind after hearing Ben Jones, but
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question.
Wow, what is did Ben Jones say they should have went over and done something?
He was talking about what you were saying with the visibility of the linemen.
Yeah, they can't. I mean,
I want to get Blaine's perspective, too.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I just think most linemen can't see it unless it's right there. Now they may have saw it in the corner of their eye. They're actually, guess what happened when they threw the ball? Guess where their eyes went? Following the ball. See?
Yeah.
They did not actually see the two hit him all up in the grill. They want to see a completion and they want to see a big play.
And we didn't really see it on the broadcast, so I don't know what he did in, I guess, off the camera. Do you think Brian Callahan probably made a pretty good stink? I mean, he says he did.
Oh, absolutely did.
Yeah.
I saw him getting after the red. I mean, he continued to go on even a play or two later. Yeah. See, and that's who you got to handle that.
Yeah.
Especially if you didn't see all in totality what happened as a player. But you know that happens.
Let's go, man. We all of our calls online right now are all from out of state. We got 2 from New Jersey and 1 from California. Coming up next, we're going to get to Ed, Will, and Gil. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to Ed in New Jersey. Ed, you're on with Blaine and Zach. Hello.
I need to find out whoever else is on the line from New Jersey because first beer's on me. I need somebody to talk to.
There you go.
Close, so
It's Will from New Jersey. Where are you at in New Jersey?
Cherry Hill.
I am in Freehold. I'm in Central Jersey. So
There you go.
Anywhere close, absolutely. So I get the idea. Look, I don't care if Callahan goes or stays this year. I think he's a lame duck. I think we all know that. But what I can't wrap my head around is people thinking that this is going to benefit Cam if Callahan gets fired mid-season. It's not like the coaches are going to be left behind that he hired. It's going to be his game plan. It's still going to be his offensive philosophy that he took all training camp to install. So I just don't get how much that's going to impact Cam if they let Callahan go. And if we're going to do it, we just say it like it is. It's just going to be for cosmetic reasons, and I'm not sure how impactful it'll be for Cam, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Thanks, Ed. I do got a lot of stats that show that it doesn't have a negative effect on the quarterback. Now, does the quarterback get better in season? Probably not, but you also have 22 other players that need to get better and perform better, and sometimes just having a different voice, a different approach can change things for the better for a team mid-season. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's kind of catch-22. It's so early in the season. I don't know about doing anything right now would benefit anything, but at some point you want to, as far as perception, that you are ripping the Band-Aid off and trying to move forward and going in a different direction if this continues. But right now, who's to say, just objectively thinking that maybe they turn around and win a couple games on the road? Let's see if that happens. Then where are you at? So
I'm still fire Callahan, but that's just me.
But yeah, right. And it may happen, but it's just I just think it's a little too early. That's why I keep saying after the road trip, and let alone Vrabel, then we're probably halfway through. You couldn't even get to the bye week, which is week 10 or so.
Yes,
something. So you may
November, the week of November 9th or whatever, weekend of November 9th.
Yeah, but if they keep down this road, you gotta do something to perception. If not, you're gonna lose the fan base. Even going into the next season.
I mean, if you don't win the next two games and you're still trotting Callahan up at the Patriots, I just don't know who actually shows up to that game besides Bostonians. There'll be your diehards there, obviously, but man, that will be a telltale sign right there.
Well, there's a lot of Vrabel fans here still, so maybe show up for that.
All the Titans fans are rooting for Vrabel because he never got fired. Oh my God, what a disaster that would be! Oh. Don't put it out of the realm of possibility.
That'd be great drama, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be
soap operas.
It would be something. It would be the most embarrassing thing to happen at the Tennessee Titans to date. I wonder how that news gets carried. You want to be in the national spotlight, Tennessee Titans fans? Well, you may get it by being the only fan base to actively cheer for the opposite head coach. Let's go to Will in New Jersey. And Will, you're on with Blaine and Zach, but where in New Jersey are you from?
Hey, guys. I am from Morris County, but I know Ed's about 2 hours south of me in Freehold. But at this point in the season, I'm willing to drive anywhere to drink a beer and get away from my TV screen.
All right, what you got?
Right there with you.
Hey, so I think I'm going to tick off a lot of Titans fans with this take, but I think we need to have a serious discussion about Cam Ward. So I was perusing through the stats earlier this week and kind of did a comparison looking at Will Levis's first 3 games of last year and Cam Ward's first 3 games of this year. And it kind of struck me a little bit. You have Will Levis with about a 15% higher completion percentage, about 55 for Cam Ward, 68% for Will Levis. Levis had more passing yards through these games. His yards per attempt were higher, more touchdown throws, same amount of sacks, but Will Levis actually faced a higher pressure rate through the first 3 games of the season. And so I'm just kind of concerned because, our fan base, we crucified Will Levis for his performance, and he was a second-round pick. I think the expectations were lower for him. Cam Ward was 1 overall, and I just don't see him elevating or playing better than Will Levis, and it's kind of shocked. I think, at least for me, it shocked me. And kind of the way I'll sum it up in my comparison is like Titan fans kind of remind me of a guy who broke up with a horrible girlfriend, right? A bunch of drama, a bunch of costs, made his life miserable. That was Will Levis. And now we're all dating somebody new. It's Cam Ward. And yeah, maybe she's got more potential, but I'm seeing the same red flags, except we're not calling her out. We're blaming her friends, her job, the environment around her. And I just think, we're ignoring the problems just because it feels like an upgrade, but I'm just not seeing a lot of it here. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and it's probably going to piss a lot of people off.
Thanks, Will. I do think there's an element of rookie versus guy that's been in the league already, and yes, it's the same system, but I think a little bit is Will Levis has been through all this already through a season before. And that's just my opinion, but what's your opinion?
What was his actual question?
Well, is it time to be concerned about Cam Ward because through 4 games, statistically, he looks worse than Will Levis last year through the first 4 games?
I'm just definitely after this game, I've been hinting around. He's getting slower and slower with his releases and getting rid of the ball. Sometimes you can develop, warts that you just can't bring them back. And so that's what I'm more afraid of, creating bad habits as a quarterback if this continues. So hopefully, every game is a learning experience. He says he's improving. I don't know about that. You see when he said that?
Yeah. I think Holtz said it today on Cam through the first 4 weeks that he's improving. I have a hard time objectively in a vacuum saying that he is improving. Yeah. I have a hard time agreeing with that. And it does not mean that I don't think there are many reasons for him not improving. But at the end of the day, you're either improving or you're not. And I think I would disagree and land on the side of he's not improving, where that's getting the ball out quicker, avoiding sacks, pocket awareness, footwork. I think he's accuracy, right? Mm-hmm. I think he's taken a dip in all those for various reasons, right? Maybe his accuracy would look better. People would have caught the ball. Maybe he lacks trust in the offensive line. Maybe it's the play calling. But some of it is stuff that we saw on tape as a prospect. But that's to be accounted for, right? Mm-hmm. Typically, especially nowadays, quarterback play in college does not necessarily translate quickly to good quarterback play in the NFL. If there is a learning curve, there is a growing curve. We kind of saw it with Caleb Williams last year. He did a lot of the stuff that he did on tape last year, and it did not work in the NFL. There is a growing pain. But objectively, if you're talking about what I have seen through 4 weeks, whether it's been progression or regression, getting better or getting worse, I'm going to lean on the other side that it's getting worse or regressing. Does not mean anything about what I think he could be later on down the road. Right. But right now, we're talking through the first 4 weeks. That's the side I would land on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And a lot of it has to do with, to me, the opponent. Each week we could talk about what the defenses brought to the table, all kind of different. But I would say, the 2 defenses in the first 2 weeks were better than this defense.
Yeah.
Maybe not better than their front 4, but better in totality as a defense. And so I just feel like he's starting slowly right now, is starting bad habits. And I don't trust that the coaching staff is going to coach him out of these habits when they're critiquing him.
And that's the other thing.
Going over to the positive side of everything instead of really just actually coaching them.
And Bo Hardigree kind of says that they are doing that, right? He says that, but I've heard this staff say a lot of things that never come to fruition. And I look at it like this. It's kind of like what I was alluding to in the first segment. Joey Aguilar and Josh Heupel meshing together. You have Clark Lee and Diego Pavia meshing together. I don't think Cam Ward's personality and his traits mesh necessarily with this staff.
Traits are his in a game.
Well, I'm talking about the traits of how he learns, how he receives information, and all that kind of stuff. I just don't trust that this staff is going to get the best out of Cam Ward because we've seen him now not get the best out of Will Levis, not out Mason Rudolph. We've seen those two players be better than what they were. We have not seen this staff get the best out of Cam Ward in my mind. And I don't know if they are the staff to do it, is what I'm ultimately saying.
Well, you can lean into, did Levis get worse or better?
Yeah.
From his day one start with them to, I don't know the answer to that.
And eventually, Will Levis just turned into the guy that didn't have Derrick Henry to lean on in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned into the guy we saw on tape, on his prospect tape. And ultimately, a coach's job, now listen, these guys have to put in the offseason work and these guys have to execute, talking about the quarterbacks. But ultimately, the job of a coach and a staff, whether that's quarterback coach, head coach, offensive coordinator, however your staff is, configured, is to make sure that you get more out of the quarterback prospect than what you saw on film. And I don't feel like they are advancing their quarterbacks enough. And I think that in some instances, you can look at a guy like Joe Burrow, right? Well, Joe Burrow was likely always going to be the Joe Burrow we saw. Now, it may not have happened as fast, but he was always going to be that guy. It'd be really hard for a coaching staff to really, outside of just something crazy, to have ruined Joe Burrow. I think that this staff does not know how to properly coach multiple different kinds of quarterbacks that aren't already elite entering the league or aren't already elite when they have come to them.
Well, I mean, he was the number one pick, so you have to say he at least is elite.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that he was an elite prospect or generational. Going back to Brian Callahan's resume, right?
Elite prospect.
He had Peyton Manning, who is already who he was. He had Matt Stafford, who was already who he was.
I was trying to tell you.
He had Joe Burrow. So I'm agreeing with you. You've said it, and I'm agreeing with you that I think relying on this staff to coach and get the best out of Cam Ward, I don't think. It doesn't matter who the play caller is at this point. This staff's likely not that staff that's going to do that. And I think we know that at this point.
Yeah, but does Cam Ward know that? Or does he believe that? Or is he more comfortable because this is all he knows?
I think there's a little bit of one. I think that, right? I think there's also a little bit of, man, I have had to change so much, over time. New coaches, new schemes, new coordinators through his college career, right?
Yeah.
And maybe he just wants some consistency. But consistency and stability may not be what's best for Cam Ward right now.
Right.
And that's where the kind of conflicting views of how this team has been built and handled from a front office perspective and staff perspective may actually be hurting the quarterback more than it is supposed to be helping, like it was supposed to help in theory.
Okay, Jake says, okay, well, we'll come back and break. He'll give his opinion.
There you go. We'll go to Gil, Tim, Eric, William, Peter. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
I'll tell you, boys, for Zach being the president of positivity, I ain't hearing too much positivity today. Also, for what it's worth, boys, Zach is definitely not going out there and fighting anybody if he was on an NFL sideline. Don't tell him I said that, though. Stoney, I miss you, and I hope you're feeling better. Stoney, I just watched Jordan Tyson, and I'm in pure jealousy because I cannot do any of the stuff that he can do. But I think he's a great player, and I love that he gets in the end zone a lot, which is something that we need.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's continue taking some phone calls. Let's go all the way out to California to Gil. Gil, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's up, Blaine and Zach? I love talking to you guys. Let some of my frustration out.
Oh,
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, well, what I'm going to say is I'll just look at it like I don't feel that they should just get rid of Callahan this year. I mean, I know he's a done coach, but I think it's time to let Amy Adams lay in the bed that she made. You know what I mean? She brought him back, and from the last couple of years, this team has not created a foundation, identity, and stability. And those things are affecting Cam Ward, and they're affecting our organization because we can't move forward when the team is always all over the place. And next year, now the coach that we get next year, these are not his players. So here we go again of having to do a turnover for the guys to get their guys in. So I think that we need to sit there and we're going to have to suffer, get a good draft pick, and Amy needs to start looking at a coach now And as soon as the season is over, we need a coach before the draft and just do things the right way. But the only way to put pressure on her is just not show up to the games. But to cut Callahan now, and I don't trust in none of the backup coaches, and I know his dad doesn't want to coach the team if his son gets cut. I mean, we're just going to have to ride it out and get the draft pick and hopefully can clean house and she can get it right this time.
Okay, so you had me really confused because it sounded like at the very beginning you weren't going to fire Brian Callahan at all. You're just talking about don't fire him in midseason.
No, don't fire him midseason because
but we can fire him afterwards, is what you're saying.
Get rid of him. He's gone.
Okay, I was very confused for a second, but I could see that being the general consensus is that, hey, your team's not really going to get that much better. It's not really going to change that much, and maybe you just have to just ride it out for the season. I'm not necessarily saying that's an incorrect way to think. I just think there is more information to maybe provide us with maybe a little bit of instances where, okay, can modestly improve the team in the season and not hurt your young quarterback at the same time.
Well, I don't know. Well, all the systems are in place, so
yeah,
maybe just a theoretical vision of we're going to go 2 tight ends and we're going to just max protect all the time. Maybe if a change was made because, Callahan, head coach there, wants to throw the football. So, yeah,
maybe you get a head coach that's willing to lean into the run a little bit more.
Well, they should be doing. That's pretty obvious.
But they keep saying they want to do it, but they don't. Maybe they go under center a little bit more within the playbook. Stuff like that is what you're expecting. It's not going to change much.
Yeah. Actions tell you who they are, and that's what they want to throw the football.
Yeah.
So they keep talking about Cam Ward and can he get him rhythm and flow? No, it's your job to get him into rhythm and flow. It's the defense's job to get him out of rhythm. So
yeah.
You gotta get the credit to the defense, or you got to make sure you impose your will of how you want to get him into rhythm.
Yep.
They
cannot impose their will. It doesn't seem like they have that shot. Just real quick, maybe, we'll save this till tomorrow. This midseason coaching changes from 2010 to now, what the data tells us. We'll save for tomorrow because we do got Coach Mack. We got all these phone calls, but what did you have, Ross?
I was just going to ask both of y'all, do you think the run game, usage/approach will change this week or whenever Spears returns at all?
Listen, when Spears returns, I'm not buying a lot of stock that there's going to be a 50-50 split or anything because I'm just not sure that Spears is ever going to be healthy this particular year. Listen, he may never be healthy at all, but I don't know. To me, they said that when Spears got back, they would go 50-50 last year, and they really didn't. Now, he's their most explosive player on the team, but nobody's playing better football than Tony Pollard, and they still don't want to give him the ball a lot. So I don't know. I'd say be very skeptical, Ross, to your question.
Do you think they will?
I would like to think so because it takes some pressure off of Tony.
Oh, I would love to think so, but I'm not betting
What
money
kind of
on
pressure is Tony feeling?
Just having to be the back, the main guy. They don't have anyone else that they can really lean on to run the football consistently.
Yeah, I don't think they give Tony the ball enough. Here's the dynamics I think everybody's missing, and you just gotta keep this in your back of the mind. Whatever Pollard's making, $9 million. And let's just say Spears is making $400. Who do you think is going to be playing if you are running your organization? See, and that's how the dynamics work. And that's why they keep saying, in theory, I want them playing more. But in reality, is they're going to put the guy that gave all the money to. Because they're going to say, hey, man, this guy is better at this point in time. Now, does the other running back, who is a small back, by the way, too, does he bring a little more juice? Oh, yeah. Does he have a little more squirt to him? But he can't stay healthy. We've gone 2 seasons now. He's been unhealthy. So for you to think you can depend on a player like that to come in and then play an extensive amount, I think you as coaching staff, you got to believe that that's not going to happen. So I think they ease him in. And if he shows signs of life of squirt that he's got juice. He's the most explosive player at training camp. You can see it by far. But he's coming off a high ankle sprain. Oh, by the way, he had surgery. Oh, so a small back who had ankle surgery, now we're asking to go out here and give a 50-50 for Tony Pollard, who only touching the ball 16 times a game. See, so to me, in theory, when you put that all together, that doesn't say I'm going to do that. That doesn't say that. Now, I want to hope that they can because he can bring a different little element, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Maybe towards the end of the season or last 4 games or something where he plays an extensive amount. But to me, Pollard should be fresh. We could say he's out there, but he's not getting run.
Right.
So then when you're not getting hits, then you see him. You've seen him block. I mean, he's up there chipping dudes up there breaking people's ribs. The dude is bringing it, man. So
You can say whatever you want about this team. You cannot question the toughness and the grit of Tony Pollard.
Yeah, he's running hard. He's running hard and everything. So, hey, I like Spears and all, but, man, he's kind of let us down with the injury part of it the whole time. So I can't, as a coach, think I'm going to make him a huge part of what we're doing until he proves to me he can stay healthy.
Especially since really you've already proven last year when he was healthy, you still didn't want to give him the ball. Like, they told us that last year.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for me to believe that anything will change under this staff because they have such a rigidity to how they approach their football game planning, their player usage. They have this rigidity that they can't shake. So why should I would have to see it to believe it.
The proof's in the pudding until they do it. Then,
yeah. Let's go to Tim in Nashville. Tim, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hate to bring up this subject since we've been talking about other stuff, but I'm pretty sure whoever was supposed to block Shazier would have, seen him when he turned around and watched him annihilate the quarterback.
Well, that was outside of the pocket.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So it wasn't in the pocket like that. He was outside the pocket running towards the sideline. So there was nobody assigned to Zaire.
So was Zaire playing zone, or was
he was playing zone?
Blitzing?
He was playing zone.
Okay,
no,
so he was just sitting in his zone, and he triggered when he saw the quarterback out of the box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just hard to see. I mean, I agree though. They're probably you don't want a penalty, but you do want people to stick up for your guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And even if it's just throwing hands up or looking up on the replay, or even coming and picking him up, that is your guy. And so that's the only thing that really stood out to me. The penalty is just a miscall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Hard to disagree.
All right, let's go to William in Vegas. William, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Okay, good. I have a comment and a question for Blaine. The comment is Callahan is not a quarterback whisperer. He's a quarterback killer. And I was wondering for Blaine, whenever they get a new coach next year, do you think they should get an experienced coach or an unknown coach?
Ooh. I'm assuming he means inexperienced, meaning that they were never a head coach.
Yeah, so I would say a Joe Brady or a Todd Monk. Well, I don't know if Todd Monk was ever a head coach, but in college.
Right. Well, the reason why I say that is because, Lane Kiffin has experience as a head coach, just not in the NFL. Would you?
Oh, no, he actually does. Remember, he was with the Raiders.
Right, the Raiders, right. So I was thinking someone
someone more, yeah.
So that'll be interesting. It depends on where you're at and what your thought process is. If I want to win right now, I'm probably going after a veteran coach. Somebody who's proven in this league that they know what they're doing.
Now, listen, I'm not advocating for the guy I'm about to say, but I would be remiss because today I was thinking about a guy as I was going through people who got
I'm not
hired.
opposed to a young guy who has never been a head coach, though.
But I just want to say there is a head coach, former head coach, that has won the Super Bowl that we have not talked about that has ties to Mike Bergonzi, and that's Doug Peterson. Now, I'm not advocating for Doug Peterson, but when you talk about ties, when you talk about what this team needs, when you talk about the veteran offensive coach guy that has helped Carson Wentz, that kind of got Trevor Lawrence away from Urban Meyer, stuff like that, he has experience. Now, I'm not advocating. I'm just throwing a name out on the radar for everybody to think about. And I'm sure everybody just ran off the road that's on the radio or broke their computer because they remember Jacksonville Doug Peterson. But I'm just saying that is a guy to put on your radar. Not a guy that I want, but a guy to put on your radar.
What do you think about that idea?
I think he could get a little more out of Cam, probably quicker than Callahan and this staff could, but I don't think it's going to change much of the direction of like the future of our football team.
Yeah. Let's go to Peter in Miramar, Florida. Peter, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Good. I've been a Oiler Titan fan now for 47 years.
Ooh.
When I came up in 1978 from Jamaica. Earl Campbell rookie season. Now, I don't like our coach, but I don't put it all on the coach. I put it on the front office because I don't know who the general manager or whoever is making these decisions are bringing in these type of coaches that do not agree with Tennessee Titans Houston Oilers philosophy. Run first offense. I know in this modern era, people are talking about, hey, they want passing quarterbacks. I am not sold on the passing game. I believe strictly a powerful, strong offensive line and a running back who can run through. Tennessee started to go down when, with Mike Vrabel, my personal opinion, whereas Derrick Henry, he inherited, but yet still wanting to bring New England Patriots formula, went and got Lewis from Tennessee, from New England, and not utilizing fully Derrick Henry. Now, last season, year before when they got rid of Henry, bringing in Pollard, I'm not saying Pollard isn't a decent running back, but he's no Derrick Henry. And getting rid of Derrick Henry, and again, going back to Tennessee, the way we play in terms of hard-nosed running the ball.
I'm sorry, Peter. We have to go to break, and I do agree, though. I think there needs to be more heat on the front office, on the ownership, for kind of navigating the ship offshore. And that's kind of feels like where we're at right now, is that you got to start looking at the common threads. And one of those common threads is Chad Brinker, Burke Nihill, and Amy Adams Strunk, all three of those people. Coming up next, we're going to go to Coach Mack for our weekly Mack Attack. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. Now it's time for our weekly Mack Attack with Coach Mack. He joins us every Tuesday at this time. Brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. And Coach Mack, to put it politely, things did not go the Titans' way against Houston. At this point, it's the first game of a 3-game road stretch. What's that like for a team and a staff to have to go on the road 3 straight weeks?
Well, really, you just take it 1 week at a time. I mean, when you look at the schedule, before the season even starts, you can see it's going to be that, so you prepare yourself mentally for it. But once you get into the season, I mean, you're in a week-to-week preparation type of a thing. So, I mean, it's all part of the process. Everybody has to do it somewhere or another. I mean, you're going to have stretches of home games. You're going to have stretches of away games. So it's not anything unusual. And the thing about these are, I mean, the only thing a little different, of course, the Houston trip was a central time zone trip. The other 2 are different time zone trips, but still, by the time you leave, you have your schedules already set. I mean, that's not the issue. Getting ready to play the next opponent, that's what's most important.
When it comes down to the time of possession, obviously they ended the game with 17 minutes disparity in time of possession favoring the Houston Texans. But heading into the fourth quarter, they almost doubled, if not did double, the time of possession that the Titans had heading into the fourth quarter. I know the defense is out on the field a lot and the offense has to sustain drives, but where is that balance for this team if they don't want to lean into the run game?
Well, you got to finish. I mean, you just got to finish your drives, and we've talked about it with you guys. We've talked about it, all year. Is that offensively, you've got to be able to stay ahead of the down box. You just have to be able to do that. And when you don't do that, and you start giving the ball back with not much time of possession, then but defensively, look, I coached defense for a long time in this league, and you never really. That whenever you're called upon, you've got to go out there and you got to sustain a defensive performance the whole game. I mean, and that's just that's extremely, extremely important, regardless of the situation. If your offense is struggling, then you've got to be able to somehow pick them up by either turning the ball over or giving them the ball back as quickly as possible and eliminating, the explosives that you allow. So it all kind of goes together. But you can't. There's no reason to be able to, to say, well, it's the fourth quarter and we've been playing a lot, so clearly we're going to be a little bit tired. That's not even anywhere near at the top of the list on the excuse list in the National Football League.
You start out 0-4. As a team or as a staff, when do you just stay true to yourself, to your philosophy, and hope that everybody just pulls themselves out of it and everything starts swinging your right way, or do you start trying to change up things, like maybe you become more aggressive in your play calling, or you try to blitz more on your defense? Like, is that a good way to look at it, or is it better just to stay true to yourself and stay the course?
Well, you got to play to your capabilities. That's what you have to do. But then you have to be able to take advantage of moments in the game. I mean, your roster is not going to change at this point in time in the league. So you've got to continue to count on, and again, hope is not a strategy. You just got to continue to pound on on your fundamentals, but you've got to be able to perform at the moment, and it has to be on a consistent basis. I mean, throughout this 4-game stretch that the Titans have been on, there have been moments where they have performed, but you've got to do it consistently, because this game, I mean, you not only watching the Titans, but I know you guys watch a lot of other games just like I do too. And it's a 4-quarter pull in the National Football League. So, I mean, there's not any magic tricks that you're going to pull out. And plus, you're not changing your roster at this time of year. That's just not happening. But you can do things that you are doing better. Now, if there's some things that you can't do, don't ask your players to do things that they cannot do. That's the biggest way to even get in worse trouble.
We're talking all things Tennessee Titans with Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, Coach, you talked a little bit about this, and that was you're trying to get guys to play consistent. I want to figure out, like, if you're sitting in the head coach's chair, what would you have done when you were the head coach when it seems like second half or fourth quarter, somehow, I'm just use the term like we run out of gas, but we just don't have enough firepower or something, and it seems like we kind of fall off a cliff there in the second half or in the fourth quarter. What can you do to help players get through that where they're still playing at a high level?
Well, I mean, it's incumbent upon the coaches and the players to be consistent throughout the game. I mean, and you know this. You played a long time. You know what a mental mindset it is to play as hard in the fourth as it is in the first. You just have to do it. As a player, you've got to condition yourself to do that. And I'm talking about mentally too. I mean, as a group, I mean, that's extremely important to do. There's no magic formula for it, but you've got to, the thing that you can't do, and what's happened, especially in the fourth quarters, is that if something starts going sideways, then you start to worry about what's going sideways rather than just focus on each play at a time. And that to me has always been the key, because there's going to be ebbs and valleys in a game in the National Football League, but you can't give in to the valleys. I mean, and however you do that, you've got to know your team. You've got to know your personality. You've got to know your players' personality. As I say, when I was boots on the ground, heavily involved with coaching, I knew and could feel, where the way my players. That's why I always like to be on the sideline. I could feel, where the players were going, and so you just got to continue to press it. But you've got to press it one down at a time. You can't just get way out over your skis and start worrying about something that's happened bad and say, oh, here we go again. Yeah, no doubt about it. We're with Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack. And, Coach, I just wanted to give us a scenario where if this ever happened to you as a coach, and that is Dan Moore Jr., before the game they said he wasn't going to play, how much adjustment would the Titans would have had to make with a player like that and what he means to his team? Have you ever dealt with something like that? Maybe you even kind of changed your game plan or something at the last minute for more protection if you had to play a backup? Kind of take us through what goes through the thought process of a head coach when that possibly can happen. Well, that just depends on what the player is. If it's an edge player like an offensive tackle is, you may have gone into it, and you did go into it with some specific plans as far as depending on who your opponent was, as to how you were going to protect, where you were going to slide the front, how you were going to do in particular down and distances, how you were going to be able to take care of some of the tendencies that they have. If that happens, you know that you're going to have to give help to the player that is going to be taking his place. But you always make provisions for that, because you can never tell. I mean, it doesn't take very much, for somebody not to be able to go. I mean, I've had guys, pop their ankle in warm-ups, and all of a sudden you had to make adjustments. I mean, you just got to be able to adjust. I mean, that's part of the National Football League, because really, seriously, nobody else cares. And so you have to be ready for all those scenarios, and that's the truth. Well, Coach, I don't sit up in the booth like you do because I'm afraid I'll act too emotional up there. But when you saw Aziz Azir hit Cam Ward in the face in the upper body, what did you say on air, and what was you really thinking? Because, man, I was pissed. Well, first, I can't say anything on air. Yeah. Well, I can't say anything on air because we got FCC. I really want to. How did you keep your powder dry? Well, I learned real quick because I just about got thrown out of the league when I was in Chicago, and they made a bad call at Green Bay that cost us the division title. As far as the Magic Man was across the line of scrimmage when he threw a pass that ended up costing the Bears the game, and I went right next door and started pounding on the instant replay door, and was told very quickly that this league doesn't need you to do that. Oh, well, I guess that's Coach Mack his rendition of what he would have done. Last question. At this point in time, and I don't know if you've ever been on a team that's been 0-4, I'm sure you've been in the league a long time, it had to happen at some point. What would be your message to the team this week? Well, I mean, I was on one time here when we were 0-6. You remember the year Titans, after we went? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were 10-0, and then we finished that season as the number one seed in the league, and got beat the playoff game, and came back the next year and started off 0-6. and got beat 59 to house at New England, right before the open date. So that was, I mean, that's a pretty deep well to be in right there. And so, you know, the rules were different then. I mean, you didn't have to, the players, you didn't have to give them off, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the open date. We gave them the whole week off at Fish, and I told them, just leave. We're going to get this figured out when you get back. And we won 8 out of our next 10. But you just got to reset. I mean, that's what you have to do, and you can't panic because, you know, again, I've been in that situation before. I've been in a couple of reclamation projects that have been successful, but the main thing you can't do at the top is panic.
You know, over the first 4 weeks, what have you seen from Cam Ward, and where are some areas that he needs to improve?
Well, he's got to improve in a lot of areas. I mean, it's not just him; it's everything around him. You know, and you could see, I think this last ball game, he started to press a lot. You know, because, you know, there was a whole, you know, you figure when things are going bad, especially as a quarterback, especially with the mantle of being the number one pick, and you know, you can't press. You just can't. Now, things have to get better around him too. You know, I know I keep saying this. It's a broken record, but it's the truth because I watched a lot of tape. I know what's going on. And I just know that when you're putting a young quarterback like that, especially with the protection problems that the Titans have had, you keep putting yourself in that third and double-digit spot. Not good. And other teams see that, and they see that. So you've got to be able to break that hex. You've got to be able to break that hex first. But you know, the thing that Cam can't do is take it all on his shoulders because it's not all on his shoulders. He's got to have some help. Everybody's got to help. But you can't press. And he started pressing a little bit this last ball game because, I mean, things were starting to go downhill in that fourth quarter.
I mean, there may not be an easy answer to this question or a catch-all answer, but, like, the feel for calling in a trick play, like, I know people practice it. Obviously, they work right across the league. But when do you feel like is the right time to call a trick play and to really catch the defense off surprise?
Well, I mean, it depends on the flow of the game, but here's the thing about unusuals. We call them not tricks, unusuals. You call it unusuals. If they work, really looks good. If they don't work, really looks bad.
That's probably true. Well, do you know what the identity of this team is through the first 4 weeks? Because generally speaking, the first 4 weeks is trying to figure out what you are as a team, what you're trying to be going forward, impose that on other teams. Do you have any idea of what this team is now through the first 4 weeks?
Well, they just need to be. They're very inconsistent. They need to be more consistent. I mean, I see what they're trying to do offensively and defensively and on special teams. But the execution, and again, it goes back to the original question that we started this conversation with today. You got to be consistent. Consistency in the National Football League is vital, and consistency comes from being able to repeat a successful process over and over and over again. You can't just start, stop. This team's not consistent enough right now.
There you have it, Coach. Oh, got one more.
Real quick, do you think they're going to have to, this week against Arizona, put in a spy versus Kyler Murray, or what have you seen so far out of Arizona? I only watched them that one game last week.
Well, yeah, Kyler Murray is, I mean, he's a problem. Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing, too, just digging deeper. I'm glad you asked something like this. They run 13 personnel more than anybody in the league. 13 personnel is a different personnel group. It's 3 tight ends, 1 wide, 1 back. And the reason they do it is because they've got a tight end that's really, really productive. Yeah, absolutely. And they've got a quarterback that is a master of the off-schedule plays. He's been that way ever since he's gotten into the league. He's never going to be a guy that's just going to stand back there in the pocket. So you've got to be very alert for him, especially. And sometimes, Blaine, it's not just down a distance with him, because there's no telling what's going on inside that helmet when he starts to jitterbug around back there. You better get somebody on him.
His feet move so fast. All I think about is that old show back in the day when I was in college, Benny Hill show. Man, this guy, man,
I mean,
he's a weapon.
You know, that's a great analogy, because it looks like It looks like a record that's been speeded up from 33 and a third to 45.
There you go. All right, Coach Mack here for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Tours Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. Coach Mack, enjoy Arizona.
All right, appreciate you guys. See you.
All right, thanks. When we come back, we'll go back to the phones. We got Eric in Minneapolis and someone else on the line as well. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're going to go to Eric in Minneapolis. Eric, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Oh, Minneapolis.
Hey, fellas.
How you doing?
Good.
How's the weather there?
Oh, it's 80 degrees and sunny.
Nice. Woo.
You know, I actually live in Minneapolis, but I grew up in Houston, and I was at the game Sunday.
Uh-oh.
This
Sorry
question
about
is
that.
primarily for Blaine, and maybe you guys covered this yesterday, but Blaine, how do you explain Snead playing press coverage on Nico Collins on 2nd and 33? And what should the coaches do, or how should the coaches hold him accountable for such a selfish and bonehead decision?
Oh, man, that is
hilarious.
Weird. You have somebody mic'd up in our
because we
studio?
were literally just talking about that off air, Eric. I mean, that is crazy. Blaine comes walking in after talking to Joseph out there. And, I mean, what are your thoughts on this play still? Now, we've heard.
They're saying they call.
Do you want to hear from Denard Wilson what he said, or do you just want to roll through it?
Well, no, I want to hear it.
Okay. So this is Denard Wilson on Snead getting beat by Nico Collins.
To me, it's like this. It's for all the players. We got to understand situational football, right? We got him backed up. It's 2nd and 33. I made a call. It was a call to keep a roof on top of the defense, and he went and pressed. And then, you know, even from pressing, he should have been outside leverage regardless, whether he was off or on. But he just has to have better awareness of the situation. And if I have to put a call to make them get off, I have to do that. Also, what you don't notice, the safety also left from the hash. We supposed to have been zoning a quarter playing cover 4. And once the safety pushed to the hash, the quarterback, I mean, it was one step and the ball was up. So it's not just LJ. He has to understand the situation, but we have to execute the details of the defense and the coverage to take the quarterback off of the X.
Okay, so you've heard that. I mean, you've seen the play several times. So
yeah. Well, I in the moment I thought that there was confusion on the coverage.
Yep,
and that's what he just confirmed to me. Yeah, because they were motioned over whether he was supposed to be up or off. He wasn't settled. You know what he should have done. Like he likes to press all the time. He should have pressed bailed with outside leverage, and he's a deep third. That way, it gave the illusion to the quarterback that he was in man-to-man, and then he would bail out of there, and that's easy. Actually, the technique I taught at the high school a couple years ago. That's the smart play, and you read number 2, and you're over the top of everybody. He got caught in between, and Denard mentioned in there that him and the safety weren't on the same play. He said the safety messed up, too. See, so there was confusion, exactly what I thought. And once you get confusion on what the actual call is, to me, you're doomed from the jump. But man, I mean, if you're supposed to be deep third,
and that's Hooker and L'Jarius Snead again. Because wasn't there confusion? What game was that? The Rams game on the Devontae Adams.
And there was a little confusion earlier in the game. In this game too, as well. So I don't know how much Snead is practicing. Like you can only go over so many plays and walk through and at practice, but you know you may not have gone over that actual play versus that formation and that motion. So I just don't know how much they understood it. It should be a quick thing because when you're out there, you have to already know what your adjustments are, and so I would tell the adjustment before it's happening, so we already know. And then if it doesn't happen, we are good to go. Because I hated to be sitting there in the not know, and I was the guy I had to tell people. So that's a very uncomfortable feeling, not knowing what the coverage is immediately right off the bat. But there's no excuses. He can't let the guy get behind him at 2nd, 33, and it's a deep. You know you're a deep third. That is no excuse.
With this practice and everything, because we know he missed a lot of practice over the summer, obviously. It's a lot different doing the play and practicing the play than sitting in a classroom and hearing the play and watching the play.
No, that's totally different.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally different for,
You got to get the reps in, especially when you were relying on someone else, right?
It depends on the player, but when you're a veteran guy, you kind of can talk through things without actually doing it. But a guy that's new to this team and really didn't play a lot last year, he has to be on top of it. Even in walkthroughs, but even if he's practicing or not practicing, there should be conversations because your eyes only know what you didn't do because every play, even if you're not out there, you did the play because your mind doesn't know what you actually did. You didn't know you weren't running. You played the play out as though you were out there. And that's how you have to be if you want to be on top of it mentally. So I don't know why there was a little confusion there, just enough to make him hesitate, and boom, he gets outside, and it's
That's
over.
all it takes.
Yeah,
that
it wasn't like Nico
1/2
wasn't
second.
running blazing. He was just like, oh, man, free release. Oh, okay, let me go here. Hit me.
Yep. Did you have something, Ross?
Tough.
Just the one thing that could potentially be in defensive Snead, I'm not saying that he didn't mess up, is just because we were watching the play. And I don't know what their scheme is, and you can correct me on this, Blaine. I'm wondering if they have it because they were playing quarters, supposedly, right? They motion across. A lot of times teams will lock that backside with that corner since it's ISO, one-on-one. I wonder if they had a tag to lock that, and that made Snead.
But he was in between, and he didn't get the call
and then
right.
What you were saying about the safety, I think it was Quandre. A lot of times in quarters.
It was Diggs?
Yeah, a lot of times in quarters when that third receiver on the opposite side out of trips, crosses, they start with their eyes on the number 3.
Yeah.
So he's got to get his eyes back quicker to the solo side because that crosser, it was not deep enough for it to affect him that long.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's good observation there. So, yeah, I just think they're just not as sharp as they need to be. Yeah, I'm glad he did make the call because I sure thought it was press man. On the TV copy, like, dang, why are we playing press man to man at second and 33?
And they also allowed the freedom for these players to do it because you heard him allude to. We've heard them say, obviously, players, can either do press or off coverage, and that's typical, right? But he also
especially with a veteran player.
Yeah, he also said, I maybe should have made it more clear, more observed. I can't remember his exact phrasing.
He could move him forward.
Could move him.
Like they could say clamp. Clamp means you press. Another call could mean you're off. And, if you start having to babysit guys like that, at the pro level, that's not
that's an extra thing that you really shouldn't have to worry about.
That's more high school, to me, unless you got some guys that just can't grasp what you're trying to do. That was a mishap all on Snead there. Yeah, he got to use the bell technique. That's easy there.
These miscommunication issues that keep kind of popping up, is that something that can be fixed in the season?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I just making sure it wasn't all hopeless.
As long as it's not something that's new, like they implemented that scheme or that defense for that game, and sometimes guys hesitate because they're not sure because they haven't run a lot of this play against all these different formations. And some guys just get a little bent out of their wits. And, I think that's kind of what was going on there.
I mean, you're going to see a lot of different – the Raiders are a different offense than the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are a different offense from the Texans. So you got to – hopefully the miscommunication start dying down at some point because this
we should have no miscommunication.
Yeah, because this defense is – they're having to lean on it when they shouldn't need to be leaning on it right now. Just to stay competitive.
That's what I was trying to ask Coach Mack. I think that's part of the reason why sometimes that, not all the time, even going into last season, that the defense kind of falls off, at least from a defensive perspective. I just think they're wore down and they've been on the field a lot. So you just never know. But you're supposed to be complimenting one another hand in hand. And it's just not working out there, being bad at the same time, let alone we couldn't even depend on a special team to make field goals. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, situational football, fellas.
Yeah, that has plagued this team for a while now. It feels like situational football. All right, that will do it for us. Okay. Sue Ann in the chat. I will get back. We'll answer your question about Callahan's playbook tomorrow. I couldn't get to it today, but I'll answer tomorrow. Got it written down. I am. Got it written down on my laptop for tomorrow. We'll get to that. We'll also get to the stuff we didn't get to today, which was the title of the show, Why Midseason Coaching Change Won't Really Hurt Cam Ward and Benefit the Titans, maybe. We'll do all that tomorrow. But coming up next is 3HL. This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime...
And in between time, peace.
Pumpkin Man.